Hi, beloveds. I'm Tanya Melendez, transformational psychic, spiritual counselor, best-selling author, and tarot expert. And I wanted to share with you how and why I decided to create the Cosmic Life book. I want to share with you a journey into my story and how cosmically it was created through connecting to both my Akashic records, my tarot profile, as well as my astrology. So let me begin. When I was a little girl, I would sleepwalk. And in those sleepwalking episodes, I would always scream, "The bubbles are chasing me." Also, as a little girl, I was deathly afraid of deep water. And it wasn't until I was in yoga school at Kripalu, where I was doing yoga for more than 3 hours a day, that some of this energy began to unlock, and I had my first past life regression. Now, the reason I started with the story about me sleepwalking is because that is also one of the connections of a psychic, a spiritual person. I know a lot of children have night terrors and different things like that, but sleepwalking is a little bit different. And so I digress. So I had these episodes where I would dream that the bubbles were chasing me. So then I went to yoga school and had my first past life regression. I had just quit my job as a school librarian and didn't know what I was going to do, but I was at yoga school thinking I would serve and support children and students and teachers as well with yoga. And so it was that unlocking in that time period, because of all that yoga, all that movement, all that energy, that I began to have very distinct visions of me drowning. In fact, in several lifetimes, I do know that I drowned. But the story I want to tell you about is this one. And so during that regression, I also experienced and saw so clearly this past life of an 11-year-old girl, an African 11-year-old girl who was serving in the priestess temple that was known as a seer since childhood. And she was captured during the enslavement times, during the slave times. And so her and several other women, girls that were with her in the temple were captured and then transferred on the boats. During this time, we had made a stop in, I want to say it has to be Cuba or Saint Domingue, known as Haiti now, somewhere where it was an island. And I happened to see one of my sisters who we had thought was disappeared. Maybe she had been captured by another tribe, or maybe something had happened to her, but I saw her and she found a way to make it over to me to tell me in my language, which was some dialect of African, that if I continued on the ship, that my sacred vows would be broken if they hadn't already been, and that I had to do anything necessary in order to not get on another ship. And so my little child brain, again, this is in the past life, had decided if I was given the opportunity that I would not make it to, if they put me on another ship, I was not going to go, that I would starve myself or find a way to end my life. And so because of the malnutrition, I was able to slide right out of the shackles and made my way onto the deck. It was, dark at night. I remember seeing so clearly it was a full moon, and I jumped overboard. Again, now this makes sense with the drowning experience and the bubbles are chasing me story that I was born into and sleepwalking. So, full moon, ocean, water, ship. Okay, let me speed it up for you a little bit. So, as an adult, I had known that I needed to be near the water. I didn't know why. I had been growing in this gnawing energy that I needed to be near water. Now, let me share with you the astrology. I was born on July 22nd, and I'm on a cusp of Cancer, Leo. But that unique experience, I also was born on a partial solar eclipse. And I am a triple Cancer. So there's my astrology. So not only in that life was that moon connected and that water energy and then the drowning energy, now here I am as an adult. And so in this life, I knew I had to live near the ocean. In fact, I've lived in Key West. I lived on the Mediterranean in Marbella, Spain. I tried to live in San Diego. I lived in Miami. I lived in, and now I live in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Now, the reason Mexico is so significant for me is not only is my great-grandfather Mexican from the state of San Luis Potosí, I have a very strong connection to the water here. And so, in fact, I do believe that it was here off the coast of Mexico somewhere, in between the United States and Mexico, that I jumped. And so I have a very strong literal tie to this country. And so I say all of this to also then share that my biggest fear of breaking my sacred vows or having them taken from me was being molested or sexually abused, because my sacred vow was of virginity. And so trigger warning right now. And so when I came into this life, I indeed did experience SA as a child, which was my biggest fear of breaking my sacred vow in the previous life. So when you connect that the drowning and then the energy of, being afraid of that experience and then having that experience happen in this life, you can see how cosmically our past lives, our Akashic records. Now, I didn't know what would happen to me. However, I took it upon myself to make a change and to end my life. And so the Akashic records then had me come back into this lifetime, have this experience so I could learn, heal, and grow from it. Now, do you see how connected that is? So that's my astrology, that as a triple Cancer. That is my Akashic records. But now I'm going to take it a little step further. So I shared with you my birthday is July 22nd. And numerology, that breaks down to a life path number 2. Then in the tarot profile, that breaks down into the High Priestess, going all the way back to that life where I knew I was a priestess. And so, what is a priestess? A priestess is someone who has the knowledge, who studies the herbs, the medicines, who is a seer, a healer, and all of those experiences, right? And so, being then the high priestess, being a librarian, being a healer, being a seer, a psychic, a medium, that all plays into the high priestess, which then is my tarot profile for my entire life. And that doesn't change. Our growth cycle in the tarot does change every birth year, every birth day. And so do you see how numerology, tarot, Akashic records, as well as my astrology all come in to this cosmic life? And this is why I'm so passionate and excited about sharing this cosmic life books, because I will share with you many lifetimes. As I've said, I know I can go back to at least 7 lives where I have lived, and a few of them where I have drowned. And so, again, that energy of the Cancer, the moon, all of these different aspects, as well as, you know, the priestess, the witch, the bruja, all of those come together. And that's why I'm so excited about sharing the Cosmic Life book with you. So not only will you get your Akashic records and astrology and tarot profile, we'll also look deeper into those experiences and how they're affecting your life right now. Had I not gone to library school, I don't know if I'd be the Tanya that I am today. And this is why the Cosmic Life book also allows you to see what is your soul's destiny. Now, it is a time-consuming experience to do the research, to go into a trance-like state in order to connect to your past lives. But I know it's worth it, because it has changed my life in so many different ways. In fact, I know I wouldn't be living in Mexico had I not had this experience, had I not gone to yoga school, had I not taken a chance on myself. And so I invite you now to pre-order your Cosmic Life book so you can get on the path of your destiny now with clarity, with confidence, and with connection to your higher self and your inner muse. So, are you ready to read and discover more you with your Cosmic Life book? If so, click the link right now and get yours ordered today.